I think the one part of your argument that people would really push back on is the autogynephile element of it. And you've used that word once. Number one, what does that actually mean?
Okay, so it's the fetish of having a vagina and embodying the body of a woman. So it's about literally wanting to be a woman or believing that you are. So you have a sexual fantasy and you're turned on by yourself as a woman.
Right. Okay.
You look a bit sick. Come on.
Or excited, you never know.
Depends. I mean, there's new frontiers every day, Posie. So that being the case, right, to what extent do you personally think that people identifying as a woman have this condition, and why do you think that?
So I think it's probably a really large number. So we used to call them transsexuals and transvestites. And I think we knew that transvestites had a fetish. And they didn't often walk around the streets in their get-up. They often sort of kept it at home, you know, like where, I don't know, arguably that's where you should perform your kink. So we knew that this happened. We knew that there were issues with it, but these men used to meet in secret and it was all a bit shameful and taboo, which is also part of the excitement of being an autogynephile. And Grace and Perry will talk about it.
Risk is a big aphrodisiac, you know. And I mean, the first time I went out in my mum's clothes was very, very exciting. And I became addicted to that.
He'll talk about absolutely that sexual arousal is all part of his dress up. That's why he wears quite wide dresses. And he'll talk about that. That's not me saying that that's what he does. But now we have to pretend that that's not right and it's stunning and brave. I think about 10% of all porn consumed is, they would use the word to describe it. So transsexual or men who have male genitals but also have breast implants. That's quite high in porn. I talked to a mother and her son had been booted out of a baseball team. And she said that he then sort of went in his room for a couple of years. He was absolutely gutted because it was American. And obviously in America, these things are massive, aren't they? If you're part of like the first team. And unlike in Britain, where I think if you're not in the first team, there's a second or a third. If you're not in the team, you're out. And he was really depressed. And then he said that he was a woman. He identified as a girl. And it transpired that he identified as a girl because he really enjoyed watching pornography featuring lesbians. And so he decided he wanted to be a lesbian. And so that would be the beginnings of what we would call autogynephilia. There's all sorts of reasons that people have sexual fetishes. There are men that are obsessed with feet. I know one such man that's obsessed with feet, and that's because his mother mainly ignored him, but her friend used to kick him under the table. You know, I think your sexual fetish, kind of the mechanics of it can set before you're sort of 6, 7 years old. Again, Grace and Perry will talk about this. This is not something that I've made up. So I do think there's a high rate of autogynephilia. Debbie Hayton, for example, that you had on, has written about being an autogynephile.
And that being the case, so where does gender dysphoria come into it then?
For them, I don't know. I don't know that it does. I think if you had a powerful, women don't really have fetishes as much as men. I'm not saying none of us do, but generally speaking, we don't. We also don't have the same relationship with sex as men do. Many women have tried to pretend that we're the same as men, but we're really, really not. Our bodies are very, very different. But the driver of sexual fetish and the power I think it can have over someone, if you look at murder, for example, that can sometimes be a sexual fetish. And so that will go from, as shown in Sarah Everard's murder, flashing, and it will just go up and it will just increase. And it's all to do with a sexual driver. Often serial killers are driven by sexual desires. And we know this. We know that there used to be all sorts of different inquiries into behaviour studies as to why people commit these crimes, we don't seem to want to look at that anymore.